What's the dumbest thing you've done for love? What is it? You know.
I don't know if it's...
Oh, you know. Hi, beautiful human. I'm Zach, and I'm really excited to be here with Dua Lipa.
Hey.
Wow, there's a whole room of people, and they just
decided not to clap.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Fuck
Thanks,
yeah.
guys. It was also after we had just told them to turn
Shut
their
the fuck
phones
up.
off.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin because you have a whole album to go through.
Yes.
But also, like, you're very seasoned and really smart, and you've also lived a crazy fucking life. Can you describe what it feels like to be releasing your third album?
God, it feels like a relief. It feels really exciting. I've just been working on it for so long, and it took me a while to get to this place, and now for it to finally be like a couple months away feels really exciting.
Did it really begin with a journal from CVS?
It really did begin with a journal from CVS.
But like, what pushes you to even buy that journal or show up to CVS?
I just needed a notebook, to be honest. I needed a note to write my lyrics.
Is that
when I
how
was in
you-
the studio?
Is that how you document always?
No, I hadn't done it for my previous records, but I felt like I wanted to start journaling, and I felt like I wanted to start writing on paper because I wanted to get off my screen. I always have this thing where, especially when I first started touring, I was like, okay, I want to spend less time on my phone because my whole life revolves around being on social media and like posting and telling people what I'm up to, that I like when I'm on a plane, I don't connect to the Wi-Fi, I turn my phone off, I read a book. I don't even watch a movie because I'm trying to like stay off screens.
I respect that.
So I love to read. And then I was like, okay, I want to journal. And then that's what I decided. I also loved the idea of just, I don't know, felt good to write things down. I didn't know how important that CVS notebook would become in the end. But it's really one of my prized possessions.
Do you remember your first entry?
Yeah, I actually wrote Radical Optimism on the very first page.
Really?
Yeah.
Where does that idea or spirit or how would you describe it? What is radical optimism?
So radical optimism was a term that was actually introduced to me through a friend of mine in a conversation similar like this, and I just felt so connected to it. It was also during the time when I was about to go on my Future Nostalgia tour, and I just made this whole record that I'd envisioned was going to be played out in clubs, and people were going to go out and dance. And then obviously we all went through collectively a pandemic. And the way that I had initially envisioned people to experience that record went out the window. And I think that kind of showed me so much radical optimism just in the fact of letting go is so important. And that some things you just can't control, and what's meant to be will be. And I'm a firm believer that every single thing takes its own course. Everything has its own life, and it comes out the way it's supposed to. The way people react to it is the way they're supposed to. There are some things that are just completely out of my control. And I think because I'm such a planner, because I'm someone who loves to like make sure that everything's down to the, to the minute, because that's how I feel like I'm in control of my life, especially when I'm so busy, that it's shown me the importance of spontaneity and just rolling with the unexpected. And radical optimism followed me through these past few years where things might not go the way that I envision them to. Things might not work out the way that I want them to. Things might, whatever that may be, but it doesn't mean that it's the be all and end all, or it's the end of something, or quite the contrary. It's actually the beginning, or it pushes you and propels you to grow and to change and to see things from a different perspective. And so radical optimism just became more and more prevalent. And so everything that I was writing had an optimistic flair. And I have this belief that what I write and what I sing almost becomes a manifestation, because I say it all the time. So it's like a mantra, and it becomes
so true.
It's like a repetitive thing. And so as long as I'm putting in something positive, and for everyone who's listening to it and everyone who's singing it, if I can inject some optimism and some positivity and some fun and light to whatever we're feeling, then I'm being of service in some way. And however that's received is how it's supposed to. And that's out of my control. So I'm trying to be a radical optimist.
How do you balance that with, okay, people who work with you will describe you as somebody who will work till a lyric is perfectly perfect. You've been described as a perfectionist. Like, you admittedly have a type A personality. So how do you balance that with being able to flow and to look at any situation and find the good in it?
I think, well, even the idea of going back in and like changing every lyric came with confidence and came with time. Like, I didn't have that before in my albums. Whatever I wrote on that first day in the studio was pretty much what ended up in the in the album. Like, maybe some minor tweaks or some changes of a word or maybe a minor melody change or something, you know? But the way that it was made there and then in the studio was probably how it was heard.
Well, was that because of fear of speaking up for change? Or?
No, it was more just the fact that I was like, that's as good as I'm going to get it, and that is my best. Whereas now I'm at a point where I'm like confident enough to dig a little deeper and feel like I can get better out of myself.
I get it.
And I can conduct myself in a room, especially when I was first starting. I was going in with songwriters and producers who'd been doing this for way longer than I had. You know, for me, I was going in like a kid with a dream that just wanted to sing and perform and write songs, but hadn't really known the process of going in with an idea, creating a song, and then having to perform it and tour it around the world. Now I know what is needed of me. Now I know, you know, what it's like to perform these songs in front of a crowd. And now I know what it is to rehearse and prepare for a performance and a show. And so that kind of changed my perspective. And like, I need every little thing to be perfect to aid me in the rest of the steps, you know?
It's interesting, like, because you realize all of the pieces that are at play all the time and how big the ecosystem really is and how everything does work together for each other. And I'm assuming that you take things, yes, from your early sessions, but also from your live shows that makes its way to the studio when you're crafting a record.
Yeah, totally. I mean, things that I write about are from personal experience.
Totally.
And I think it's, for me, some of my favorite things is how do I craft a story into the melody that is the most catchy and fun, but I'm also telling something that's personal, while at the same time with an optimistic flow. You know, whatever it is, it's just like, it's crafting, it's the jigsaw, it's that's the thing that I love the most.
Is there something from your first album that something that you were doing back then that you carry with you still today?
I think I've changed, honestly, so much because I don't know. I've learned, I've become more confident in my craft, but I think there's always been a juxtaposition. Like, I've always loved duality. I've always loved the happy and the sad. I've always described my music as dance crying.
I feel
like
it is
I feel like
accurate.
that's something that really resonates with me. But I feel like I've grown and matured, and my taste is more refined, and I know what I want from myself. So, but I think like the dance crying element, that will forever be my genre.
So what type of life does one need to live in order to get art that fits the dance crying genre?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. I think, you know, before I used to think that I had to be in like, I had to be going through some kind of like toxic relationship to be able to write a song because sad feelings were the easiest to connect to. And with Future Nostalgia, I realized that that's not the case at all, and that I can make songs that feel really good and are really fun, and I can dance to without, you know, they're pop songs, but without being cheesy. It's like, oh, you know, happy or optimistic songs would immediately get put in the bracket of like bubblegum pop in some way. And I think that record kind of cracked that for me, that I was like, oh, I can make music that also feels good and has depth as well.
And do you approach it from, and really, like, when you set out to make an album, do you set creative expectations for yourself or goals that you want to reach?
I think for me, it's just being able to grow and change and allow myself to create something different every time. Like, I don't really want to get stuck in the cycle of trying to repeat the success of something that's already happened, because it's happened. And it's easy to get stuck in that if something's been successful, because then your mind's like, okay, I have to replicate that thing. And that was, you know, maybe with my first album, I had, you know, new rules and One Kiss and Electricity, and it was like, okay, now I have to go into the second record. And it's very easy to get into the cycle of how do I replicate that? But I had to separate myself from that to create something new. And I had to do it again to create something new again. And I think each of those have their own world. And I think that's beautiful. And I think if you just do it for the art and for the love of it, then you won't carry this like deep pressured expectation, because for me, as long as I'm really proud of it, of what I've been able to like put out, and I feel like I've grown as an artist and as a songwriter, then I'm hopeful that that will translate also to everybody listening.
And it does. Like, one of the first things about this album was there's a cohesion. No songs sound alike. The evolution's there. The range is crazy. And I feel like I don't lie. Like, I have this like problem where I just like vomit honesty. It's fucked up. I like was fighting with my boyfriend on my way here, and we're listening to the album. Oh, dude, what the fuck are you doing to me? It's really, but then also like it starts rough, but then it gets beautiful at the end. I mean, like, let me look at my notes, because Anything for Love brought us so much closer. I don't want to talk, like, I don't even know how, yeah, it's so beautiful. Like, it sounds like you did that song in one take, by the way.
Yeah, it's like a glimpse into our studio session.
Oh.
So we basically, we made this whole record in a room in London, in a studio in Kensal Rise, and that became my home for a year and a half. And I have this big thing about studios, because I love a place that has windows and light, and a lot of studios don't have that. I know it sounds, it's like funny,
what?
but like
no.
Most studios are really dark and dungeony, and for me that room has seen me through every season, has seen me through every emotion, I go into the studio early, and I know like early for some people is like, I don't know, 9 or whatever, but for me I start at 11 and I'm there until 9 p.m. and I love seeing it go from day to night. And I don't know, I feel like my ideas can breathe in a room like that. And we were all together in the room, and our engineer Jan, who'd been there for the whole year and a half with us, helping us like set the mics up and do everything. He's a super talented piano player. And I asked him to play for us in that moment. I was like, Jan, I think you should be a part of this track as well. And he came and played, and it was just beautiful to have the energy of all the people who have played a little role in making this record with me. To have that moment. And so yeah, it was really just me on an SM7, kind of like this mic, in the room making Anything for Love.
It's stunning.
Thank you.
It's the build and the way it like kind of drops, and like it's really amazing.
Thank you so much.
No, like it gives me Smash energy. And like maybe there's push, like maybe they go, oh, it's mid-tempo. You're idiots. It picks up. It's flawless.
Thank you.
Where are you at though in life when you need to write that song? And does that make its way into the journal first?
Yeah, I mean, everything was kind of written like diary form. Like every day when I went into the studio, it was just kind of, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I want to write about. And Anything for Love, I guess it's just one of those, every studio session starts with a conversation. And so we're just kind of bouncing off, ideas and perspectives. And it's kind of this idea that we live in such a fast world where it feels like things are easy to dispose of. So people don't really fight for things that they really care about, or they're very quick to let go of things that are meaningful because, I don't know, it feels like, and in that sense, that's where I went in for Anything for Love. It's like, remember the time when people really fought for something, or love really meant something, and it wasn't just this throwaway thing. And so that's really where that song stemmed from.
Hello, beautiful human. Every year, millions of gamers experience IGSS, inadequate gaming setup syndrome. Luckily, a cure has been found. You have to go beyond with the Vibrasonic mattress by Beyond Sleep. This thing has 6 built-in subwoofers, USB ports for charging, LED lights so you never stub your toe. It gives you an acoustic massage when you want it, plus adjustable degrees of comfort. This right here is the best way to game ever. Cure your IGSS today at BeyondSleepTech.com. And does every song kind of start the same, right? Like where it's you in the studio writing? Do you go into a session? Do you experience life and then like kind of spill into the journal?
Yeah, pretty much. It always starts with like a cup of tea. We sit, we chat for like an hour and a half. However, it really depends on the day, like how we're feeling. And then it's like, you know, when I'm in the studio, I was working with Kevin Parker, Danny Hall, Tobias Jesser Jr., and Caroline Aylan.
And you guys like did 8 out of the 11 songs together.
Yeah, we did 8 out of the 11 songs together. And, you know, it starts with a conversation, and then either Danny or Kevin would start, you know, either on the synth or drums, or they would start making a track, and me, Caroline, and Tobias, we would start fleshing out the idea, and we would write down words, and we would mood board, and it would just go into like melody, into words, into writing, and then we'd be like, all right, we're starting to get a story, and we just go from there.
Does the story need to be written from reality, or do you have the ability to write from imagination?
I think the stories can get embellished in terms of like some, you know, descriptive elements that either rhyme or work in the melody, but overall they're all from personal experiences.
Is there a song that you made on this album that when you made it meant one thing, but today, before you release it, may mean another?
I think they all kind of shapeshift. Like I said, like when I write things and when I'm in the studio, I'm like, I should be careful what I say because I do manifest stuff into my life.
It's powerful.
And so by the end of the record, I always go back and I'm like, oh, it's almost like I preempted this thing. Or, oh, I really, I really brought this person into my life, or this is what I thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's like it's a real manifestation. So for sure, they take on a new life.
So what'd you manifest here?
What did I what?
What'd you manifest with this one?
All good things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some more radical optimism?
Some more radical optimism.
So does that genuinely mean we're looking at any situation and seeing it as a glass half full, not half empty?
Yeah. Half full always.
And do you believe that is fueled by confidence?
I think it's just perspective over time. I think, I don't think it's even, I think it's experience maybe. It's like you go through the hardships, you come out of them stronger and smarter, and or you'd hope. And you kind of either don't repeat the same mistake again, and you kind of look at it, especially in hindsight, where you go, everything that I went through, even if it was tumultuous or painful or sad or whatever, it's like it brought me to where I am now. And so no experience isn't worth going through or feeling or reminding yourself of in some way.
Do you believe manifestation has played a part in your success?
I think, yes. I want to say yes, because I think, you know, people can maybe think of manifestation of this idea that you're doing witchcraft or something.
It's not.
But it's really, if you set an intention and you think about it every single day of your life. And for me, like Glastonbury, for example, when I first started making music, I dreamt about the day that I would get asked to headline Glastonbury at the Pyramid stage. And I've probably thought about it every single session that I'm in the studio, because when I write a song, I go, oh, what's this going to sound like at Glastonbury? That's the first thought. And that, in a way, is setting that idea, that intention in the back of my mind. Whether I say it out loud, I know it. And that just lives there. And it's just brewing, and it's just holding on. It's something that I'm actively working towards without, you know?
Without even thinking about it, but you are thinking about it.
Exactly. So I think it's powerful, because it's your own personal goals that you set for yourself, that then you have something to look towards.
It's really powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe in it. I've done it.
Yeah.
No, shit's real.
For sure.
It is incredibly real.
Yeah, I believe it.
But there is a lot that comes down to hard work and consistency.
Definitely.
And this act of not, like, manifestation is a part of the whole thing, but like there's this consistency thing. Like, you didn't stop. Like, I had no idea you were a bouncer.
Not a bouncer.
Okay.
I was like a door girl.
Okay, so you're checking
So
IDs?
I was like, no, not checking IDs. That's what a bouncer does.
Okay, so what were you doing?
I was the one with the guest list.
I was going to say, like,
And,
you don't
like,
give
the
bouncer, really.
Thing. No, I don't think I've got like the muscle power for that. But I did that when I was like 17 years old.
You lived in London on your own, right?
I lived in London on my own from when I was 15. So I was born and raised in London. I lived there until I was 11. Moved back to Kosovo, because that's where my parents are from. I'm originally from Kosovo. Lived there until I was 15. And at 15, I decided I wanted to come back to London and be in a place where everything was happening and go to school and put covers up online and get a job and do all these, all kinds of things.
But what was your pitch to your parents?
Well, it was just like I have to get. So there are these exams in the UK called GCSEs, and you have to get those to be able to go to university in London. And I wanted to live in London, and so I was like, okay, I need to go back and get these exams if I want to go to uni there. And so that was kind of the original pitch, and I was also like, I want to try music and see how it goes. And that was the pitch. And now when I ask my parents, which is just madness, they're just like, you were just a hard kid to say no to. Like, I was very determined. I felt like I knew what I wanted from a young age, and they were really supportive of my dreams. And they trusted me. And, my parents had me really young. My mum was 23, my dad was 26. They left Kosovo because of the war in Yugoslavia. And so they really adapted to so many different situations in their own life. They were separated from their family. They had to grow up and figure their own way. And they were working in bars and restaurants. And at the same time, when I was born, then making sure that I wasn't missing out on anything. It was just, they kind of instilled this heavy work ethic in me. So I think they kind of either maybe saw a part of me in them, or some kind of determination or something there that they were like, okay, go, do it, try and see what happens.
And they pushed you.
Yeah. But they were there. They were really there.
Really special.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to make them proud?
It's amazing because I get to share it with them, that it's I'm so close with my family and my siblings, and just we're such a unit, which is really fun. And to get to experience all these things, it means a lot. Because they keep me the most grounded. It's madness, this world. And they give me normalcy. And they instilled this, the fact that I can live almost two lives at the same time. It's I have music, and my, who I am on stage is in one place, and then who I am at home and with my friends is a different person. Almost. And I love being able to have those two. I think that, I can't be one without the other.
That's so, I was just going to say, one, incredibly healthy, but two, because of that, your art will always be authentic, but also be understood. I felt so understood by this album.
Wow, thank you.
And somebody who can get lost in the sauce or whatever the fuck the atmosphere is of being one of the biggest, most culturally significant pop stars, maybe really one of all time, dude. You can get lost in that, and then your art can kind of deviate too. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess that's the scary thing. You don't want to get lost in the, I don't know, and of course the excitement is one thing, but I think losing yourself or
totally different.
It's a completely different thing. I think maybe I always have this feeling that at any point the rug could get pulled from under my feet. So I love to keep my head down, work, do my job, do it well, and get the fuck out and go and hang out with my friends. That's really just the way I like to do it, and I love that duality that I get to have in life. That gives me so much peace.
Balance. How do you define success?
How do I define success? I think for me, it's I've always defined it with my touring, because I feel so much of my career has been based on the amount of times that I've just gone and done shows around the world, whether on my first album where I just did 3 laps around the world into, doing 97 shows in a year for Future Nostalgia. And
that's crazy.
Seeing the rooms grow and having something to bounce off of and being like, okay, next time I come back, hopefully I can play a bigger room or see this grow, or how is the show going to change? What can I bring to that crowd? That for me shows me that things are changing or growing, and I'm seeing them in a different light.
Is any of that hard to wrap your mind around?
I mean, every time I get out on stage, I'm like, whoa, I can't believe this is my life. But it's a dream. It's a dream. It's something that I've always dreamt of. And before I knew like the ins and outs of what is needed of me in this as a career, like when I was a kid, when I thought about being a singer and being like, oh, this is what I want to do, my mind directly went to me being on stage and performing. And that is like such a massive joy for me. I feel so energized. And yeah, it can be like grueling, and it's like, it's a non-stop kind of traveling, way of life that you have to adapt to in unconventional circumstances where you have to make a home in every single place. But I love touring because I just make the most of it. I go and see the city. I go to the restaurants. I go and be a tourist. I go and experience the culture. And then I get up on stage and I feel like I don't want to let life pass me by because it just goes by so fast.
Oh, that's so special. That's like the best way to look at it. Because people can look at it through the most negative light. You know what I mean? But to look at it through that light, I don't know, makes it a better experience for you and then the person who gets to experience that show.
You got to have fun with it.
Fuck yeah.
You got to have fun with it.
You put the most into the live performances that you do. Your Brit Award performance was fucking crazy.
Thank you.
How does one even physically train for that?
Well, I guess because we'd done pretty much like a month of rehearsals for the Grammys, and that was kind of putting 2 performances together.
Yeah, so but like you're like dangling in one.
Took a long time. And then going into the Brits, it was 2 weeks, but it's a lot of training. It's with the dancers. It's going in every day. And we have these like collective warm-ups, and then we go in bit by bit and we work on it, and we just keep building and building and building until it feels like water.
But like, what was going on the Brit stage though? Were people floating?
People were floating. We had like aerialists. At one moment, I was holding on 2 like aerialists who were holding my wrists.
Crazy.
And they like lifted me up.
Sick.
For a moment. But it's just so much fun to bring a spectacle to people. I love that idea. I love the element of surprise. I love the dance breaks, and I love the energy. The energy is special, and I learned a lot of that from being on tour for a year.
Is that really what fulfills you when it comes to live performances?
Yeah. I get a massive adrenaline hit, a real kick out of performing and I don't know, doing something that is enjoyable for people to watch, whether it's on TV or in the room.
You were answering question on Jeopardy the other day.
I was?
Yeah, you didn't know?
No, I didn't know.
I have it. Hold on, I'll read it to you.
What was it?
Maybe you know the answer to it. I don't know. Hold on. I have it in my notes. I want to read it exactly the way it's written because like I don't want to like ruin it. Yeah, but it was good. It was related to Barbie.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, I don't know where it went, but it was pretty cool. It was like it was like they brought up the fact that you're a mermaid and
cool.
Yeah. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
It's culturally significant.
Yeah, culturally significant. I love that.
It's a
That's
big
cool.
deal.
Yeah.
You know you made it when you have a fucking Jeopardy question.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
No?
I think that one, like in the New York Times crossword.
Oh, that's a big one too.
And that one I get very excited
See,
about.
like little, like not little, they're like little but big. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're like something that like everybody does.
Yeah.
Everybody will know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I love that one.
Can we talk about this album? Like I have no idea when this is even being released, but I would love to talk about it because it's
Yeah.
fucking great. Like, how'd you know it was finished? Let's start there.
Good question. I think it was really a collective decision. We'd been writing so much, and we wrote every day on the days, like because I was writing a lot in between my tour legs, And then there was one really solid couple months where we just worked every single day. And I think sometimes it's easy to get jaded because you're writing, and then you're like, is it good enough? Are we there yet? You know,
How do
where
you
are
know?
we just sat and listened to every single song, and we're like, all right, this is good. This is good. This is good. Start building. Where does this go? How does this fit in?
Were you working on numerous songs at once, or would you like finish one and then move on to another?
We would finish, well, actually sometimes like start one and then maybe start another, then go back to one, which is, again, unlike my process that I've done before, but we really worked like a band.
You refer to this group
I
as the
refer to
band.
this group as the band. And it's something that I really had envied. Like I would listen and hear other interviews of artists who are in a band, and they would just sit and they would work together. But it would be like they would start an idea, then they would go on to something else and come back to it. And the process was not as impulsive and not in such like a short period of time. So I love the idea of developing the songs as they went by. So there were moments where we went back, and like I said, like I pretty much rewrote every single song a couple times until it was right.
That's is there a song that took the biggest shift from its original state to the state that we're going to get on this album?
Gosh, I mean, I think End of an Era, we went through quite a few verses, and we changed a bit of that. Also, like when we started writing End of an Era, we started on the production, and then we started writing melodies, and I was like, this isn't right. So I actually called off that session that day, and I was like, we're going to leave Kevin and Danny to just work on the track for the day. And we're going to leave because I feel like we're getting writer's block and we're hitting a wall, and we're not getting like the right melodies. It just didn't feel right. And so we left, and we came back the next day, and we heard the track with fresh ears. And then we were like ready. It just gave us a whole new lease of energy.
I keep hearing that more and more, like just through conversations. Listening to something a day later, it changes your life.
Changes everything.
Because all you do is hear it,
Yeah.
and you don't know at a certain point. Like it's like nose blindness for your ear.
You have to separate yourself from that. And I think before, I used to be so hard on myself. And I think because, again, like the confidence thing, and also going to a room with like experienced writers and feeling like I wasn't good enough, I feel like it was, I don't know, I just kept beating a dead horse, basically, like over and over. And nothing good comes of that. So when you remove yourself and you give yourself that grace to be like, all right, today's not working, and it's okay. And not to, I'm going to go and have lunch. I'm going to go out. I'm going to do something. I'm going to come back tomorrow, and I'm going to have a fresh perspective. And it helps.
God, so healthy.
Yeah.
But it's hard. Like I guess like a part of you wants to see something finished, or like maybe that was trained in you.
Yeah, I think it's just that feeling of the accomplishment, the delivery, just being like, it's done, you know? Whereas things don't have to be like that. I think things can take time, and you can, just allow yourself to have that time.
What was the first song you fully finished?
Illusion. Yeah.
And
Illusion was the first song. That was also kind of like, it was the first session that we did all 5 of us as a band, and it just clicked. It was at that moment where we were like, okay, I think we're onto something now.
How'd you know?
Because right after that, it was, the day after that, we wrote Happy For You. And the day after that, we wrote What You're Doing. And it was in 1 week, we wrote 3 songs that ended up on the record. And so we were just on this roll. We were just, there was just an energy shift, and we all felt like we were working towards something. And we had a very clear idea of where we were going. And that was...
where were you going?
Well, into this like psychedelic world that was very vulnerable and honest at the same time, but very like organic in terms of the musicality of it, but at the same time dancey and personal, and I think experimental, even with the samples. There's the tremolo of Kevin's voice in Happy For You. which I just absolutely love, and like the sound with the birds, and it just transports you into a completely different place. When we wrote that song, I knew that was going to be my album closer.
Was it the texture?
It was the texture of it. It also felt like I just matured and seen myself grow as I was writing that song.
Dude, it is about maturity and healing.
It is about maturity and healing.
I must have loved you more than I ever knew. I'm not mad. I'm not hurt. You got everything you deserve. Really some personal stuff, but really accepting the reality, yeah?
I think it's more of just being able to see something for what it is with a very clear perspective and being like, that wasn't meant for me. And I'm happy
Where you're at.
I'm happy where you're at, because that allows me also to just like move on to whatever's meant for me.
Which is the person that you were given via Maria, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Maria's another like
What an interesting
growing,
perspective.
a full personal, maturing moment, because I would think this, like when you go through a breakup, you're like, all right, that person's gonna go and be so much better for someone else now, because I feel like whatever happened here, they've learned and they're gonna like put it into action in the next relationship. And I think everyone has done that for someone, or someone has done that for them. Like with every relationship, you grow and you become hopefully a better version of yourself from the experiences that you've had. And so Maria is really about being grateful to the ex and being like, thank you for doing that, because we all grow, we all learn, and now I have this person who's just like meant for me in this way.
And that is the larger story across the album, right? Is losing one person, but then finding the person who's right. Am I wrong in that?
No, I think you're right.
I mean,
but also about like losing yourself and then finding yourself in the midst. Like sometimes you just have to be like, I don't know, you have to feel like you're underwater. You have to be out of your comfort zone to really find yourself. I think it's always when your feet are dangling a little bit off the edge where you like do your most growing, and it's only in times where things aren't going right where you see the way that you move through the fire or through, whatever is happening.
Does the growing ever end?
The growing never ends, no. But I think you just find new ways to go through it. Why? Like growing, I think, is so beautiful. Change is beautiful too. Yeah.
Eventually you find someone you want to ride through the change with, though, no?
Exactly. I think that's the key.
Yeah. God, fuck. Pressure, life. It's crazy. These Walls is so good. These Walls, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Very honest.
Thank you. Very honest.
Yeah, listened to that with my boyfriend after we fought. It was really good. It was really good.
Well, it's funny because, when it's just two people and, you're in a room or, you're having an argument or you're going through a breakup or whatever, the only witness
It's
you
the fucking
have
wall.
is the wall, and personifying them and giving them like a personality in itself is interesting because, it kind of, that room knows you better than anyone. It knows you who you are in the silence. It knows you with the person that you're with. And, it's all those things. It's really powerful. So These Walls is a special one.
I really do sometimes wish the walls could talk.
Yeah.
Because I think they defend me, but I don't know. Like, I have no fucking idea.
Like, whose side are you on?
Yeah, wall. Like, be honest.
Yeah.
No, don't fuck with me, man. Tell us right here, right? Why am I staring at a wall? This is so sick. Oh, man. It's really good.
Thank you.
It's really good.
Thank you.
What's last song you made for it? Did I ask you that question?
Last song I made for the album, Falling Forever.
Oh, it's great too.
Falling Forever was the last song on the album.
Why did it come last?
I don't know. I don't know why it came last. I think it's like a manifestation song.
Let's look at the lyrics. Hold on, let me. I don't believe that every flame has to get colder. Mm-hmm. I hope the feelings that you give me carry over.
Yep.
Till tomorrow and beyond.
Yep.
How long? How long can it just keep getting better? Can we keep falling forever? Oh, fuck yeah, and you got it. Right?
Yeah.
Did you manifest it? Like, did you have what you wanted at the time of writing that?
No.
It came after, eh?
It came after.
Yeah, you got energy power, sis.
See?
I can feel it on you.
I'm telling you.
You're a Leo?
I'm a Leo.
Interesting. Interesting.
What are you?
I'm a Taurus.
Interesting. My sister's a Taurus.
Oh, she's a good one.
She's a
You're
good
one too. My dad's a Leo. Jeez. But yeah, but you manifest.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
So
I think putting things into writing is powerful.
I agree.
You got to ask for what you want.
So after you write Radical Optimism as like the first thing in your journal, what do you write after that?
Then I just started writing songs.
Well,
It
you wrote like, didn't you write over like 90 songs for this one?
97,
That's
to be precise.
Okay. Holy shit.
Which is actually funny because one of my dancers, Lamar, we were doing rehearsals for the Brits, and he's like, "It's crazy you wrote 97 songs because we did 97 shows when we were
wow.
touring in 2022," and I didn't even realize, and I was like, "What does that mean?"
97 means something. And you're born in 95, right?
I was born in 95, yeah.
Yeah, you throw 95 in everything. I like that.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good branding.
Good number.
No, it is a great number. Wait, what was I gonna? I had a question. Obviously that's what the fuck I'm doing here. Not just here because of my good looks, shit, and because I could talk to a wall. Literally. Wait, what the fuck was I asking? Oh, that's such a
Leo?
shame. Oh, Leo.
You're Leo, you manifest.
Manifesting. Oh, yeah. I forget now. But anyway, let me go back to you arrange. Let me go back to my notes. Oh, what's the dumbest thing you've done for love?
What's the dumbest thing?
Yeah, you bring this up on the album a little bit. This idea of doing something for love. This idea of like, I don't know, like, what is the dumbest thing? I've never done a dumb thing. I've never been in love that many times.
No, I don't know if it's like, I'm trying to think, what's the dumbest thing? Dumbest thing.
What is it? You know.
I don't know if it's,
Oh, you know.
it's not even like dumb. It's just very forward, I guess. Like, when two people just feel like they're just so connected immediately. So you're really open-hearted and you just say everything that you feel. It's not dumb. It's just, it's honest and scary when you're free falling and you're like, all right, I'm going to take a leap and just say how I feel without being afraid of it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. At least I'll be really honest and be like, I don't know, I have this really crazy, overpowering feeling. And yeah.
You know energy.
Yeah.
You feel
I
it.
think, I'd like to think that I'm like an energy person.
Yeah, I can sense it.
Yeah.
So like in that situation, right? Like, are you doing that numerous times or is it only?
No.
Yeah, it's like to the person, the right person.
Yeah. It's like, it's a feeling. And you just hope it's like reciprocated in that moment.
Beautiful. Your hair, the color, what song is it connected to? Because you mentioned that it was.
Yeah, it was really, I think, during the time when I was writing Training Season and Houdini, that I felt like the color red was really coming through. I mean, there's so many different, blue obviously is a big part. I feel like
cover.
that's the album cover. I think that's These Walls. I think that's Happy for You. I think blue is a very optimistic color. I think maybe red's the more radical side.
Duality again?
Duality again, yeah.
Interesting. So blue to you, when you look at that album cover, it means.
Well, to me, that screams radical optimism, honestly. I feel like I'm very like calm and composed in deep waters with a shark nearby, which in any other circumstance is like a cry for help. But it's kind of standing really strong in a moment of maybe fear,
Do you end the album in that place or do you start the album in that place?
I think both the start and the end of the record, they're equally radically optimistic. The first one being the free falling, the end of an era, the idea of like, whoa, this could be it. Is this my happy ending? Like, I don't want to come to my senses kind of thing. And then the happy for you is, again, it's being able to see yourself from a completely different perspective and see how much you've grown and be like, oh, I can move on from a place of real love and respect because of my past or someone in my past.
You got to listen to Radical Optimism. It's waiting for you on Amazon Music. There's going to be a code on the screen or a link below.
Hey.
By the way, you can also get it vinyl. We're going to be doing a
Yes.
bunch of like exclusive cool colors over
I've
at
got
Amazon
so
Music.
many, like, I've had so much fun creating lots of exclusive vinyls for this record. We've got so many different editions.
Can you explain to me like what merch and like what that the visual side of this art means to you? Because it is like a physical, even down to fashion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really fun and carefree, and I want it just to feel easygoing, something that everyone can throw on and you feel good in it, and it's just kind of like no frills, you know?
I mean, it is like, it's interesting. Like when I look at even fashion, right? Like it is your shoes, red, your hair, red. Like it's all physical, like tangible things that are connected to this new era.
Yeah, I've been wearing a lot of red. I feel like I'm connecting
Fuck yeah.
to it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on this new album. It's
Thank you so much.
incredible. Please listen to it. Link below. And I love your podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we were talking before. You're really good, and you do it well. You do a podcast justice. And
Thank you. I try. It's not easy.
Oh, yeah.
It's not easy. I mean, you know,
no,
you do it all the time. It's for me. I have so much respect for you. It takes me so long. It's like I read so many other articles and watch the documentaries and listen to other podcasts and do all the prep, which is why my podcast has to come in phases, because I just can't manage everything at the same time because it takes up a lot of space. But I love it and I enjoy it and I learn so much from like the incredible guests I get to have.
it's like the conversations are really special, and I have the most respect for you because like what I told you before is like people can go and like just do a podcast and make it like put no work into it and not care, and then it's not good for anybody. But the reality is like when you do it, you can actually grow as a human. And
Totally.
and sometimes, I mean, like, dude, we probably have like 9 pages on you, you know? So sometimes like it is a lot of prep. But, but the truth is like, you know, I don't know. I loved getting to understand who you are as a person and where you come from. And you're fucking awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. You're awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
3 albums in, you should be incredibly proud. And like, yeah, God, your dad also was a rock star. I had no fucking idea. And now you guys run a business together.
Yeah.
Like it's really special stuff.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's lovely. I feel so lucky. I feel so lucky to have that support and to get to do things like this with my dad. And it's been amazing.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Like it could be way fucking worse.
Yeah, it could.
Channel that good energy. Listen to Radical Optimism. It's waiting for you below. Dua Lipa,
Thank you so much, Zach.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, likewise.
Dua Lipa, everybody.